Does Tom Cruise have another Top Gun Maverick up his sleeve for the box office this summer in 2023? Well, Paramount President Bob Bakish seems to think that is exactly what they have on their hands with Mission Impossible 7: Dead Reckoning. Let's get into it. Renegade Online. Well, folks, welcome back. Another great day here at Valiant Renegade. It's good to see everybody out there once again. And if you are like one of the many folks watching this video, not yet subscribed to this channel, please take a moment, turn that little red subscribe button to gray, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, share this sucker out on the social medias, and of course, please do leave a comment before you head out the door today. We appreciate you. Almost to 20,000 subs, thanks to our wonderful audience like you. Now, on to the news. We've got some stuff coming out from Paramount. As you recall, or probably have seen many comments from last week's Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference. Of course, everybody's talking about things that Bob Iger said, CEO of the Walt Disney Company, while he was there. There's been a lot of things that have been overlooked from what other folks like Bob Bakish, the president and CEO of Paramount Studios. One of those things really caught my attention, and that was Bakish's comments regarding his excitement for the upcoming Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. That is going to be hitting theaters on July 14th. That is what they're hoping to see is going to be the next Top Gun Maverick coming forward in terms of box office. Let's go back and do a quick trip down memory lane with the Mission Impossible franchise set. It started back in 1996, if you can believe it. That's right. Tom Cruise has been playing Ethan Hunt in this series now for almost, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, 27 years. So let's check out the historical chart here for the Mission Impossible franchise. Beginning in May of 1996, a total worldwide box office haul of $457.69 million, and then grading up over the next 22 years, all the way up through Mission Impossible Fallout, to $787 million. There was only one stumble along the way, and that was Mission Impossible 3, which actually brought in a lower worldwide haul than did its predecessor. And that was largely thought to be because the predecessor, Mission Impossible 2, really wasn't terribly well received at the box office. But as you might notice, the budgets for each of these films has grown only incrementally in comparison to its box office. They have kept the production costs of these films very well under control. And the box office returns for these movies have continued to be admirable performers, especially when given their overall budget and the fact that Paramount has always observed the traditional theatrical window. And these films have had tremendous success in the post-theatrical window, the pay-one window, the PVOD sales, the physical media sales in former years, PVOD more in recent years. These films have found a lot of additional shelf life in terms of revenues from outside of Paramount once they've left the theater, and Paramount is certainly looking to keep that trend going, especially after the huge success of Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick in the summer of 22. Not only did that movie make $1.5 billion at the global box office, but it also brought in hundreds of millions of dollars more after the theater in PVOD sales and rentals, and physical media sales. This is a film that has kept cycling out there. We saw it sit on top of the watched at home chart on the numbers for months on end. And it just became the most consumed movie, according to Samba TV, since it was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. This is a movie that just doesn't go away. And the most potent thing at this point for Paramount is the reinvigoration of the brand recognition that is Tom Cruise, arguably the last big, real action star that is still out there in Hollywood at this point. And I'm sure Bob Bakish and Tom Cruise, Christopher McQuarrie, and the whole crew at Skydance are hoping that that goodwill that they built with audiences from Top Gun Maverick is going to carry over into Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So let's get to it. What did Bob Bakish say last week at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference about the future of Paramount Studios' Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 coming out this summer. Asked towards the end of the Morgan Stanley session during the Q&A to recommend a particular piece of content for the audience to watch from Paramount, Bakish initially demurred, reciting the old saw about not wanting to pick a favorite child. But then, in reviewing several top properties, he lingered on Mission Impossible. The Tom Cruise action franchise has its 7th and 8th installments in the works. The two-parter will kick off with MI Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is scheduled for release July 14th. The first test screening of the first film was held last week. That's Dead Reckoning Part 1. And the audience, according to Bob Bakish, the audience lost their mind, he said. Quote, "The movie is insane. It's a complete thrill ride. And Tom, he's very good. The second Dead Reckoning installment, which is in production, is, quote, it's insane too," Bakish continued. Quote, "Tom Cruise is walking on the outside of an airplane. In the air, not on a green screen. It's quite the ride." And that's exactly what Tom Cruise, Skydance, Chris McQuarrie and company have been teasing about on YouTube now for months. The clip of Tom jumping off the cliff on a motorcycle with a parachute on his back was not done on a soundstage. It was not done with wire work. It was not done with a green screen and post-production VFX magic. This was all done in camera. This was done, as Tom Cruise has put it before, for the audiences. And this is exactly the kind of action star that Paramount needs to reinvigorate their own studio, let alone everything else going on in theaters right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think theaters are probably most excited at this point about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning this summer, more so than any other film. And that's not to say that other films coming out this summer do not have the potential to be very good earners for the box office, for theaters themselves. That's separate and apart from a kind of profit return that a studio or distributor can expect from bearing the costs of both producing and marketing the films. But I think theaters know what they have on their hands with a Tom Cruise blockbuster. They saw it last summer with Top Gun Maverick, a movie, again, that stuck around for months in theaters and just would not stop earning. They're hoping that same thing will happen this year with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Getting all of that reawakened, re-energized audience that went back to see Top Gun Maverick 2, 3, and 4 times to do the same thing again this year with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And there's other studios out there that probably ought to be concerned trying to put their own big blockbusters up in the theaters around the same times. Of course, most notably this summer is going to be Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones 5 and the Dial of Destiny, coming out just 2 weeks before Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning drops. That one on June 30th. Now, it remains to be seen how well, of course, either of these movies could be received by the audience. But what if Bob Bakish is saying about the test screenings and the audience losing their minds? It's insane. Apparently, the scores in the test screenings and the comments in the test screenings are off the scale for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Be curious to know if Disney has had the same experience with their test screenings for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Don't know how well that one's going to do for Disney, but Bob Bakish, he is sure not hedging his bets. He is not pulling his punches on what he thinks Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning and Tom Cruise can do to the box office this summer. Now, it's my prediction this movie is going to hit the $1 billion worldwide mark. I think fairly easily. I could be wrong, but time will tell. But if Bob Bakish's comments are any indication of what actual audience reactions are going to be when this movie opens, it is perhaps going to be something to rival the success of Top Gun Maverick from last year. They know what they got. Ball's in your court, Disney. Good luck. But I want to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comments below. Are you interested to see this movie, and what do you think it's going to do at the box office? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that notification bell. Share this sucker out on the social medias, and of course, until next time, take care.